Life will always test you. Sometimes the test doesn't come in the form you expect. It comes disguised as a problem, a storm, a setback, or what I call a nipple situation. Now let me break this down to you. A nipple situation is that moment when everything feels upside down. It sits when the odds are stacked against you, when the people you thought would support you disappear, when you sit left wondering, why me? Why now? But here's the truth. You don't grow when life is easy. You grow when you're under pressure. Diamonds are formed under pressure. Champions are built in the fire. Success is born in struggle. Some of you right now are in your own nipple situation. You feel stuck. You feel tired. You feel like life has dealt you a bad hand. But let me tell you something. God does his best work when you're at your lowest point. When you've got nothing left, that's when you realize you're stronger than you thought, braver than you imagined, and more resilient than you ever believed. See, a nipple situation is not meant to destroy you. It's meant to reveal you. It's meant to pull out the real you, the version of yourself that doesn't quit, the version that fights back, the version that fights back, the version that refuses to let fear or failure have the last word. Don't cry over the situation. Rise because of it. Don't complain about the struggle. Use it to sharpen your vision. Don't run from the fire. Walk through it knowing you're being refined. Everybody wants the success, but nobody wants the process. Everybody wants the process, but nobody wants the preparation. A nipple situation is just preparation. It's training ground. It's proof that your story isn't finished yet. So the next time you face your own nipple situation, I want you to do three things. Stay calm because panic only makes the storm bigger. Stay focused because distraction will steal your destiny. Stay faithful because what's on the other side of this trial is a breakthrough you can't even imagine. Your nipple situation is not the end. It's the beginning of something greater. You are being positioned, prepared, and pushed into the next chapter of your life. Remember this, if God brought you to it, he will bring you through it. So stop worrying, stop doubting, stop second-guessing yourself. Keep walking, keep believing, keep moving forward. Because one day you look back at your nipple situation and realize that was the moment you discovered your true strength, your true purpose, and your true destiny. Now listen, everybody in this room, everybody watching this, I don't care who you are, where you come from, what you've been through, you're gonna face something in your life. I like to call a nipple situation. Now don't get confused by the name. See, life has a funny way of putting you in places where you feel like you stuck, like you trapped, like the walls are closing in. That's what I'm talking about when I say a nipple situation. It's that point in your life where you sitting there saying, man, I don't see no way out of this. And let me tell you something. Everybody in here either just came out of one, is in the middle of one, or about to walk into one. That's the truth. Ain't nobody in here immune to it. Not me, not you, not the most successful person you can name. Everybody got a story about when life put them in a corner. Now here's the thing about a nipple situation. It'll test what you made of. See, when everything's going good, when the check's rolling in, when the lights on, when the friends around, when the marriage good, when the kids acting right, oh, anybody can smile then. Anybody can be happy then. But when the bills stacking up, when you don't know how you're gonna pay that rent, when your health start acting up, when the people you love walk out on you, that's when the truth shows up. That's when you figure out if you got grit, if you got faith, if you got the courage to keep pushing when it looked like you at the end of the road. Let me break it down for you with one of my own stories. Because see, I don't just be up here talking theory. I done lived through some nipple situations myself. Back when I first started out in comedy, I was broke, man. I ain't had nothing. I remember nights where I was sleeping in my car, not because I wanted to be adventurous, not because it was some Instagram hustle story. No, man, I was in that car because I ain't have no place else to go. That's a nipple situation. That's when life sits you down and say, okay, let's see what you really got. I remember one time I was sitting in that car. I had about $35 to my name. I didn't know where my next meal was coming from. Didn't know where the next gig was going to show up. And I sat there thinking, Steve, maybe this ain't for you. Maybe this dream too big for a boy like you. Maybe you need to just go get you a regular job. Clock in, play it safe. You ever had that voice creep up on you, that little whisper that tells you to quit? That's what a Nippal situation does. It tries to convince you that your dream ain't worth it. But let me tell you what I also heard that night. I heard another voice, a stronger voice. That voice said, Steve, if you quit now, you're going to regret it forever. If you give up on this dream, you're going to live your whole life wondering, what would have happened if you just kept pushing? And I said to myself right then, man, I can't quit. I've come too far. I've cried too much. I've prayed too hard. And you know what? I didn't quit. And because I didn't quit, I'm standing right here today talking to you. See, here's what I need y'all to understand. A Nippal situation is not permanent. It's temporary. It don't last forever. It's like a storm. And I don't care how bad a storm is, eventually it passes. Eventually the sun comes back out. But you got to survive the rain to see the sunshine. You got to keep walking, even when your shoes full of mud, even when the wind blowing in your face. You got to keep walking, because on the other side of that storm, there's a blessing waiting with your name on it. Now let me tell you something else. Sometimes God allows you to go through a Nippal situation not to punish you, but to prepare you. See, you think you're ready for that big dream, that big blessing, that big opportunity, but God looking at you like, no, you're not. You ain't strong enough yet. You ain't disciplined enough yet. You ain't faithful enough yet. So what does he do? He puts you in a Nippal situation. He lets life hit you with a couple of punches. He lets you get knocked down a few times. Not to break you, but to build you. Because when you come out of it, you're going to come out stronger, wiser, tougher. Think about it. Every champion you ever seen had to fight through something. Every success story you admire came out of struggle. You think Oprah just woke up successful? Nah, she came out of a Nippal situation. You think Tyler Perry just wrote one play and got rich? Nah, he was homeless too, sleeping in his car, broke, hungry, dreaming. That was his Nippal situation. And look at him now. So stop looking at your situation like it's the end of the world. It's not. It's training ground. It's boot camp for your destiny. That pain you feeling right now. It's shaping you, that disappointment you going through. It's teaching you that setback you dealing with. It's setting you up for a comeback. Now, I ain't gonna sit here and act like it's easy, because it ain't. I know some of y'all tired right now. I know some of y'all praying and it feel like God ain't answering. I know some of y'all smiling on the outside but crying on the inside. And I came here to tell you that's okay. That's part of it. You ain't weak because you cry. You ain't weak because you feel broken. That just means you human. But here's the key. You don't stay down. You get back up. You wipe them tears and you keep moving. Because one day, and I promise you this, one day you're going to look back at your Nippal situation and say, if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't be who I am today. One day you're going to look back and realize that what you thought was the worst season of your life was actually the best thing that ever happened to you. Now let me explain something to y'all about these Nippal situations. Most of the time, they don't even show up the way you expect. See, you be thinking, okay, if life gonna hit me, I'll be ready. But it don't come when you're ready. It comes when you least expect it. It'll hit you on a Tuesday afternoon when you thought you was just gonna coast through the week. It'll hit you after you finally feel like you got your stuff together. That's when life say, all right, let's see if you really built for this. And the crazy part is people don't always see what you going through. You can be smiling, you can be posting pictures, you can be showing up to work every day, and on the inside you fighting the biggest battle of your life. Ain't that real? How many of y'all know what I'm talking about? You ever had to show up like everything fine when your whole world was on fire? That's a Nippal situation. I remember back in the early 90s, man, when I was trying to get my career off the ground, Everybody was telling me, Steve, you funny, but funny don't pay the bills. You need to go get you a real job. And I thought about it. I thought about giving in. But then I realized, what's the point of living safe if you gonna live with regret? See, some of y'all right now, you letting fear talk you out of your dream. You sitting in your nipple situation and you think the answer is to shrink your dream down to match your situation. No, that ain't the answer. The answer is to grow your faith to match your dream. Let me tell you another thing. Sometimes the people closest to you don't understand your struggle. They'll look at you and say, man, why are you stressing? Why are you still chasing that? You too old for this. You ain't got the money for this. You ain't got the connections. And if you listen to them long enough, you'll start believing it. But you gotta learn to protect your dream. You gotta learn to protect your spirit. Because if you let people talk you out of it, they ain't gonna live with the regret you are. Now, y'all know I love to keep it real. So let me just go on and say this. Sometimes your nipple situation is your own fault. Yeah, I said it. Sometimes it ain't life, it ain't God, it ain't the devil, it's you. You made a bad decision. You ignored the signs. You trusted the wrong people. You blew your money. You got lazy. And now you sitting there mad at the world. But here's the good news. Even if it's your fault, it ain't final. You can fix it. You can learn from it. You can turn it around. Don't sit there drowning in guilt. Don't sit there saying, I messed up, so it's over. No, it ain't over. As long as you still breathing, you got another chance. Let me give y'all this truth right here. Quitting won't make the pain go away. Quitting just guarantees you never get the reward. You think it's hard now? Imagine how hard it'll be living with what if for the rest of your life. You think it hurts to keep going? It hurts 10 times worse to know you gave up. I'd rather struggle chasing my purpose than be comfortable living without it. Now, I want to talk about faith for a second, because that's the only thing that kept me alive in my hardest nipple situations. When I didn't see no way, when I didn't have no money, when I didn't have nobody to lean on, the only thing I had was faith. And let me tell you something about faith. It don't make sense. If you trying to make it logical, you gonna miss it. Faith is believing when it don't look like nothing working in your favor. Faith is walking into a dark tunnel and trusting that there's light on the other side, even though you can't see it yet. Faith is showing up anyway. Faith is getting back up anyway. Faith is smiling anyway. See, I've learned that a nipple situation is really God asking you, do you trust me? Because if you only trust him when it's easy, that ain't trust. Real trust is saying, Lord, I don't know how this gonna work out, but I believe you got me. And when you stand on that, man, I'm telling you, doors will open that you ain't even knock on. Opportunities will come from places you didn't even see. People will show up in your life at the exact right moment. That ain't luck. That's faith doing what faith does. Now let me lighten this up for a second, because y'all looking serious out there. You ever notice how when you broke, everybody suddenly want to go out to eat? Man, when I ain't had no money, that's when all my friends was like, hey Steve, let's go grab some dinner, let's go hang out. And I'm sitting there thinking, man, I got $7 in my pocket and you talking about dinner? That's how nipple situations feel sometimes. Life keep throwing more at you when you already stretched thin. But you know what I learned? Even in them moments, you got to find something to laugh about. Because if you lose your joy, you lose your strength. Let me share this. Joy ain't about what's happening around you. Joy is about what you decide to hold inside you. You can be broke and still have joy. You can be waiting on your breakthrough and still have joy. You can be in the middle of a storm and still say God is good, because joy is a decision. And when you keep your joy in a nipple situation, the devil don't know what to do with you. Life don't know how to break you. People don't know how to stop you. Listen, I know what it's like to feel forgotten. I know what it's like to wonder if it's ever going to turn around. But let me tell you something I wish somebody told me when I was sleeping in that car. You are closer than you think. Your nipple situation is not a dead end. It's a detour. It's rerouting you to where you're supposed to be. If you quit now, you'll never see how close you really were. Don't stop digging 3 feet from goal. Don't stop running when the finish line is right around the corner. Don't stop believing when your breakthrough might be tomorrow morning. I need somebody in here to hear me. You gonna make it. You hear me? You gonna make it. I don't care how heavy it feels. I don't care how dark it looks. I don't care how many people walked away. You gonna make it. Because you stronger than you think. You tougher than you know. And you got a God that ain't never left you. Not one time. Now let me tell you something else about a nipple situation. Sometimes it feels like it's just plain unfair. You ever look at somebody else and say, man, why their life looks so easy? Why everything always seemed to work out for them and I'm over here fighting for my life? See, that's the trap, comparing your behind the scenes to somebody else's highlight reel. Don't do it. You don't know what they went through to get there. You don't know the tears they cried, the nights they wanted to quit, the sacrifices they made. You just looking at the finished product. Stop comparing your chapter 2 to somebody else's chapter 20. Your story ain't their story. Your journey ain't their journey. And the truth is, sometimes the heavier the nipple situation, the bigger the blessing waiting on the other side. See, when God got something major planned for you, he don't give you a light test. No, he tailor makes your trial. And I know, some of y'all thinking, well, if that's the case, I don't want no blessing that big. I used to think the same thing. But let me tell you, once you come out on the other side, you're going to be glad you went through it. Because it's only when you've been at the bottom that you can truly appreciate the top. It's only when you've been hungry that you can really appreciate a full plate. It's only when you've been in the dark that you know how precious light is. Now here's something I learned about myself. I used to think I was patient until I had to wait on God's timing. Boy, let me tell you, nothing will humble you like waiting. You be praying, you be fasting, you be believing, and it still ain't happening when you want it to. That's a nipple situation right there. Because patience don't mean sitting around doing nothing. It means trusting while you keep working. It means showing up even when you're tired of showing up. It means planting seeds and believing one day they're gonna grow, even if you don't see nothing breaking through the soil yet. I remember back when I was auditioning for Showtime at the Apollo. Man, that was a turning point in my career. But before I got that call, you know how many times I got told no. You know how many times I got overlooked, rejected, laughed at. Too many to count. I remember one time I drove all the way to a gig, spent gas money I didn't even have, only for them to tell me, sorry, we don't need you. And I had to turn right back around and sleep in that car again. That's a nipple situation. But if I had quit after one of those no's, I never would have made it to the Apollo. I never would have had my breakthrough. See, sometimes God lets you hear a whole bunch of no's so that when you finally hear yes, you don't take it for granted. Some of y'all right now, you mad because the doors keep closing. But what you don't realize is God ain't trying to punish you. He's trying to protect you. He knows that door ain't right for you. He knows that opportunity ain't gonna bless you. He knows that relationship gonna destroy you. So he let it close because he got something better lined up. Now let me drop this on you. The enemy don't fight people who ain't a threat. If you in a nipple situation, it might just be proof that you got something valuable inside you. See, if you wasn't carrying greatness, the devil wouldn't even bother. If you didn't have purpose, life wouldn't be throwing all this at you. The fact that you under pressure is evidence that you matter. It's evidence that you got something worth fighting for. I remember being broke, man, and I see people riding around in nice cars, eating in nice restaurants, and I'd be like, man, I want that too. But then I had to check myself. Steve, are you willing to go through what it takes to get that? Are you willing to suffer, sacrifice, and grind for it? Because see, everybody wants success, but not everybody wants the process. Everybody wants the reward, but not everybody wants the work. That's what separates the winners from the quitters. The winners learn how to keep moving in the middle of a nipple situation. Now let me share something funny, because y'all know I can't be up here serious the whole time. One time when I was broke, I tried to take a date out. Don't laugh, I'm serious. I had about $12 in my pocket, and I'm sitting there sweating like, Lord, please don't let her order nothing expensive. You ever been there? Every time she look at the menu, my blood pressure going up, she talking about appetizers. I'm like, appetizer? Girl, we came here for one meal. That was a Nippal situation. But you know what? I learned how to laugh through it, because if you don't laugh, you'll cry. And sometimes laughter is what keeps you from losing your mind. Now let me get back to it. Your Nippal situation is shaping your character. You can't build strength in a gym if you don't lift no weight. You can't build faith if you don't face no tests. You can't build wisdom if you don't go through no mistakes. So stop cursing the weight you carrying and start realizing it's building you. You ain't gonna be the same person when you come out of this. You gonna be sharper, you gonna be stronger, you gonna be wiser. And here's something powerful. Sometimes your Nippal situation ain't even about you. Sometimes God using your story to inspire somebody else. Sometimes He letting you go through it so that one day you can stand on a stage like this and tell somebody, if I made it, you can make it too. You don't even realize who watching you right now. You don't even know who looking at your life thinking, if they can keep going, maybe I can too. That's why you can't quit, because your survival ain't just for you. It's for somebody else's breakthrough. So when you feel like giving up, remember this. Somebody out there needs your story. Somebody out there needs your testimony. Somebody out there needs to know that it's possible. Don't rob them of that by quitting.